This is Ethan from Combat Radio with a look at Apocalypse Now. Directed by Coppola and written by my old boss at Warner Brothers, John Milius. You know, Steve Surgic, the director of Umbrella Academy, and I did a breakdown of this for the channel, and it's like an hour and a half long, but here's a run at the trailer. You know, early on they wanted Steve McQueen for this. They ultimately brought in Harvey Keitel, who lasted about 5 weeks before being let go. They then brought in Martin Sheen, who had a heart attack on the set. For Kurtz, they went to everyone in town before they finally cut a deal for Brando, somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 million a week. Brando showed up, went downriver on his houseboat, and did everything he could do to stretch out his time and pay there, creating insecurity about the character, not sure how to execute the character, confusion about the character, all things directors hate. He also showed up out of shape, which is why he's photographed in the shadows, though I think that actually worked pretty well for the film. There's Jerry Zeismer, the legendary AD, not only on this, but he was the AD for Spielberg and Cameron Crowe. You know, he wrote a great book called Ready When You Are. Milius told me he based the role of Kurtz on John Wayne's role in the Green Berets, Colonel Kirby. The Green Berets being a pro-Vietnam film, almost a propaganda film for the war. He also told me he was barred from the set by Coppola because Coppola was afraid UA would replace him as a director with Milius because the production was that out of control. Duvall plays Kilgore, based on a real guy, a character who I think was actually brought up for war crimes. You know, it's okay to attack if the surf's good at the point of impact. Surgic was in London on The Witcher when we discussed it, but we openly wondered if a PSYOPs approach like this would work. Would you hear the music in a chopper attack? Neither one of us had been in a chopper attack to know, but we love the scene. And somewhere in this, legend Clint Howard, brother of Ron Howard, does some ADR work. Milius also told me that the demolition team on this mismarked some huts, and one of the things they blew up was some innovative dive gear meant for this stunt when the car's blown off the bridge so the stunt drivers could stay under the water longer. Well, they didn't need it in the cut, they didn't have it anyway because it was blown sky high, but it's an interesting idea. Another angle on this napalm strike is what opens the film. Robert Krieger of The Doors told me that was all put together as a big joke. Wouldn't it be funny if the movie started with a song called The End? Well, we all know it's the opening that stuck. One of these dancers here is Colleen Camp, who went on to play Yvette the Maid in Clue, a fun film directed by another friend of mine, Jonathan Lynn. Anyway, the story here is Martin Sheen plays a SOG operator who goes upriver to terminate an American officer who's operating outside the lines of authority. Even though he's winning the war, the high command cannot stand the fact that he can't be controlled, so they sanction his murder. Lots has been made about the ending of this. Some say that Coppola even dragged on production while he tried to figure the ending out. Well, I read the original script in Milius' office, and I liked the ending that had. In that script, Sheen's character goes up to terminate Kurtz, but before he can pull off the execution, the NVA attack en masse. They have to team up, and they fight him off in a cyclone of death and destruction. I'd heard Coppola didn't want to go with that ending because he didn't feel he could top the chopper attack earlier in the film, and honestly, he's probably right about that. So at some point he came to the realization that, look, the movie's about an assassination. He goes up and he assassinates the guy. The end. But production on this ran on so long that at one point Coppola's former assistant, George Lucas, offered to buy all the chopper attack footage for his sequel to American Graffiti, More American Graffiti, which takes place in Vietnam. But Coppola didn't have to sell it. He ultimately got the movie done. It's the masterpiece you see before you, Apocalypse Now. Definitely worth your time. See it.
Your road to redemption is paved with tombstones. No quarter, kill all masters. Go to noquarterkillallmasters.com. Rated R.